In the far north of the world, where the sun lingers on the horizon and the air tastes like snow and salt, there lies a realm carved by ice and time. A land where nature reigns as both artist and architect, painting mountains in silver, forests in gold, and skies in fire. This is Scandinavia, a place where the earth still whispers its ancient songs. From the frozen fjords of Norway to the glassy lakes of Finland, from Sweden's endless pine forests to Denmark's windswept shores, this region isn't just geography, it's emotion. It's the pulse of the north. Here, every landscape tells a story. Every city, every island, every beam of midnight sun carries the memory of those who came before the Vikings, the dreamers, the explorers who dared to live in harmony with the wild. Tonight, we journey across the top of the world through light and shadow, through history and myth to discover the wonders of Scandinavia, a sweeping cinematic introduction to Scandinavia, a realm where nature and myth intertwine. From Norway's fjords to Sweden's lakes, Finland's forests, Denmark's coasts, and Iceland's volcanoes, every frame pulses with the rhythm of the north. This chapter will set the emotional tone, exploring the northern light, the long winter nights, and the deep connection between humans and the raw, untamed landscape. In the far northern reaches of the world, where the sun lingers in the sky for endless hours and winter nights glow with the shimmer of the aurora, lies a land unlike any other, a place where myth, nature, and time itself seem to breathe as one. Welcome to Scandinavia, the realm of the midnight sun, where every mountain, forest, and fjord tells an ancient story. Imagine standing at the edge of a towering cliff in Norway as mist rises from the fjords below. The air feels alive, charged with mystery. The light, soft, silver, and eternal dances on the horizon like a dream between day and night. It's here, in this fragile balance of elements, that the spirit of Scandinavia reveals itself. This is not just a region on a map, it's a feeling, a rhythm, a way of seeing the world. Scandinavia is the heart of the north, a region carved by glaciers and shaped by legends. Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Iceland, each unique, yet bound by a quiet strength and respect for nature that runs through every river and mountain. This is a place where human stories have always intertwined with the land, from Viking explorers who sailed beyond the known world to poets and painters who captured the light that never fades. The beauty here isn't loud. It whispers. It hides in the silence of a snow-covered forest, in the reflection of clouds on a still lake, in the golden light falling over a fishing village at dusk. The people of Scandinavia learned long ago that nature isn't something to conquer, it's something to belong to. And so, their lives follow the pulse of the seasons, the long winter nights filled with candles and warmth, and the endless summer days bursting with light and life. As we journey through Scandinavia, we'll discover lands where contrasts live side by side: fire and ice, darkness and dawn, ancient traditions and modern design. It's a place where cities feel like art galleries and nature feels infinite, where the modern world coexists peacefully with old myths, trolls in the mountains, elves in the forests, gods in the wind and water. The spirit of the north is not easily defined. It's something you feel deep within when you breathe the cold air and see the northern lights shimmer above frozen lakes. It's in the simple joy of a warm cup of coffee beside a window frosted with snow. It's in the laughter of children playing under the midsummer sun when night never comes. It's in the silence of vast landscapes where the only sound is your heartbeat. But this land's allure is more than its natural splendor. Scandinavia is also a story of resilience of people who have learned to thrive in harmony with nature's extremes. Harsh winters have bred a warmth of spirit, and long nights have inspired creativity and calm. From the minimalist design of their homes to the poetic simplicity of their words, everything here reflects balance a philosophy that life doesn't have to be fast or loud to be full. As the journey begins, close your eyes and feel the call of the north, the cool wind brushing against your skin, the scent of pine and sea salt, the distant echo of waves against rock. This is not just travel. It's a return to something primal, something pure. The landscapes of Scandinavia remind us of how small we are, yet how deeply connected to the earth we can be. Here, the light never truly leaves. It only changes form. It moves across the sky, across mountains and valleys, across hearts and generations. And in that light lies a truth. That beauty exists in stillness, in patience, and in the quiet strength of the north. Welcome to Scandinavia, a land of eternal light and endless legend. A place where time slows down, and every breath feels like part of something greater. The journey begins here, where nature speaks in whispers, and the world feels vast, ancient, and alive. Journey into the heart of Norway, where earth and water sculpt the most dramatic scenery on the continent. Glide through Geiranger Fjord. Stand beneath the towering cliffs of Trolltunga and watch the northern lights dance over Tromsø. Blend poetic narration with awe-inspiring imagery of glaciers, fishing villages, and Viking heritage, showing why Norway is a masterpiece carved by nature itself. The moment you set foot in Norway, you understand why poets call it the kingdom carved by gods. Here, nature isn't just scenery, it's a force, immense and alive. Towering cliffs plunge straight into glassy fjords that stretch endlessly into the horizon. Snow-capped peaks touch clouds as waterfalls tumble like silver threads down their sides. The air feels sharp, pure, and sacred, like breathing in eternity. This is Norway, where every turn of the road, every reflection in the water, feels like stepping into a dream sculpted by time itself. Norway's landscapes are unlike anything else on Earth, majestic, mysterious, and almost unreal in their perfection. Picture yourself aboard a small boat, gliding through the Geiranger Fjord, surrounded by walls of emerald rock so tall they seem to scrape the heavens. The water below you mirrors the world above sky, and mountain become one, and silence reigns. Then, from high above, a ribbon of white cascades down the Seven Sisters waterfall, whispering ancient tales of love and legend as mist touches your face. Every fjord in Norway holds a story. The Norway fjord, narrow and steep, feels like a secret passage into another realm, untouched, timeless, where the earth itself seems to breathe. Further north, the Sognefjord stretches so far inland it feels like an ocean that decided to live among mountains. And everywhere, small wooden villages cling to the shores, their red and yellow houses glowing softly against the blue of the sea. It's as if the people of Norway live between worlds, between land and water, between earth and sky. But Norway's wonder isn't just in its grandeur, it's in its stillness. Imagine standing alone in the middle of a snowy plain, under a sky painted green and purple by the northern lights. The world falls silent. The air shimmers. The aurora dances, weaving patterns older than humanity itself. In that moment, you realize nature here is not a backdrop. It's the main character. And yeah, despite its wildness, Norway feels deeply human. In cities like Bergen and Ålesund, the architecture looks like something out of a fairy tale, colorful wooden houses, narrow cobbled streets, and harbors alive with the scent of salt and fish. Bergen, once a Hanseatic trading post, still carries the heartbeat of the sea. Its old Briggen Wharf, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stands as a living memory of the centuries when merchants from all over Europe came to trade cod, grain, and stories. Farther north, beyond the Arctic Circle, lies Tromsø, the gateway to the Arctic. It's here where adventure becomes life. Dog sleds cut through snow, reindeer graze in the quiet tundra, and the Sami people, the indigenous guardians of the north, keep their ancient traditions alive. Around campfires, they sing joiks, haunting melodies that echo across frozen lake, songs that tell stories not through words, but through feelings. As the light fades and night settles in, another miracle begins. The northern lights, the aurora borealis, sweep across the sky like living fire. Shades of emerald, violet, and gold dance and swirl, reflected on the icy waters below. It feels like watching the earth dream. You can't help but feel small, and at the same time, infinite. Norway is also a land of balance between wild nature and modern innovation. In Oslo, sleek design and urban life meet the calm rhythm of nature. The city feels open, breathable, where modern art museums overlook forests and fjords. People here don't just live with nature, they live within it. Even in the heart of the capital, you can hike, ski, or kayak within minutes. It's a lifestyle built on harmony, a reminder that progress doesn't have to mean separation from the natural world. Then, there's the Lofoten Islands, perhaps the most surreal sight in all of Norway. Jagged peaks rise from turquoise seas, fishermen's cabins perch on stilts above icy waters, and sunlight glows like liquid gold on the horizon. Here, time moves differently. The midnight sun hovers above the sea, refusing to set, turning every wave and every cloud into molten fire. It's a moment that feels eternal, one that imprints itself deep within your soul. Everywhere you go in Norway, you're surrounded by contrasts, cold and warmth, isolation and connection, silence and song. It's a place that doesn't shout to be seen. It whispers to be felt. The landscapes, vast and untouched, seem to tell you that beauty doesn't need perfection, it needs truth. Norway's magic lies in its ability to make you feel both humbled and inspired, a reminder that the earth still holds mysteries we can't control, only witness. The fjords, the northern lights, the still lakes, and the ancient forests, they all seem to speak one universal truth. The world is alive, and so are we. This is the kingdom of fjords and frozen beauty, a place where silence roars, where the sky burns, and where the spirit of the north calls to your very core. This is Norway, untamed, poetic, eternal. From Stockholm's island maze to the tranquil wilderness of Lapland, Sweden reveals its quiet grandeur. Capture the essence of lagom balance in all things. The chapter will contrast the sophistication of Stockholm's modern design and royal palaces with the peaceful solitude of the countryside, the reflection of pine trees and endless lakes, and the whisper of the midnight sun in the far north. There's a moment in Sweden that every traveler remembers: the quiet. Not silence, but a deep, resonant stillness that seems to rise from the land itself. You stand by a crystal lake at sunrise, the air cool and pure, and you hear nothing. No engines, no crowds, just the wind brushing through endless pine forests and the distant call of a bird. The sky glows like soft gold, reflected perfectly on the water. For a moment, the world feels untouched, and you feel small in the best possible way. This is Sweden, not just a country, but a soul written in shades of blue and green. Sweden's beauty is a song of balance between wild nature and human grace. Nearly 70% of the country is covered by forest, stretching endlessly across rolling hills and mirrored lakes. It's a landscape shaped not by conquest, but by coexistence, where people and nature have learned to live as one. In Sweden, life doesn't rush. It flows calm, deliberate, and deeply connected to the earth. Begin in Stockholm, the capital that floats between land and sea, a city built across 14 islands where bridges link neighborhoods like threads of history. Here, the old and the new blend seamlessly. In Gamla Stan, the old town, cobblestone streets wind past mustard yellow buildings and medieval churches. You can feel the ghosts of merchants, sailors, and kings who once walked these same stones. Yet, just a few streets away, glass towers rise above the water, sleek, modern, and full of light. Stockholm is a living contradiction, ancient and futuristic, royal and revolutionary, a mirror of Sweden itself. But to truly understand Sweden, you must leave the city behind. Head north where the roads narrow and the forests grow deeper. Every curve of the land reveals a new lake, perfectly still, surrounded by birch trees and moss-covered stones. Villages appear like dreams, small wooden houses painted in the traditional red, known as Falu Rodfarg, their color born from the copper mines of Falun. Each home seems to glow against the green, like warmth itself taking shape. In the heart of the country lies Dalarna, the soul of Sweden. Here, midsummer is more than a celebration, it's a communion with nature. On the longest day of the year, when the sun barely sets, villages come alive with music, dancing, and flowers. People gather around maypoles, wearing crowns of wild blooms, and the air fills with laughter and fiddle tunes. It's a celebration not of time, but of timelessness, of the light that never fades and the earth that never forgets. Continue north, and the forests give way to something even more profound: Lapland. Vast, untamed, and endless. This is the land of reindeer and the Sami people, where ancient traditions still echo across the tundra. Here, nature rules in its purest form. Winters are long and silent, with snow blanketing the world in white. But when darkness falls, the sky ignites the northern lights, shimmering green, pink, and violet across the heavens. It's as if the universe itself is alive, whispering secrets to those who dare to listen. In summer, the opposite happens. The sun refuses to sleep. The midnight sun hovers above the horizon, bathing everything in a golden glow. You can hike for hours without seeing another person. Your only companions, the rustle of the trees and the rhythm of your own heartbeat. In Lapland, solitude becomes sacred, and you begin to understand why Swedes speak of friluftsliv, open-air life. It's not just an idea, it's a way of being, to breathe, to walk, to exist in harmony with the land. That's the Swedish way. Sweden's natural wonders extend beyond its forests and skies. In the archipelagos that stretch from Stockholm to Gothenburg, thousands of islands dot the sea like stepping stones into eternity. Each island has its own characters, some rugged and wild, others soft and pastoral. Fishermen still pull nets from the water at dawn, while seals bask on rocks and seabirds trace arcs across the horizon. It's a world that feels simple, yet infinite, like life distilled to its purest form. And then there's the human touch, quiet, thoughtful, and beautiful in its restraint. Swedish design mirrors the landscape: clean lines, warm light, and natural materials that invite calm. From the cozy interiors of countryside cabins to the sleek architecture of modern cities, everything feels intentional. There's a word for this: lagom, not too little, not too much, just right. It's the balance that defines Sweden in design, in life, in spirit. In winter, as snow covers the towns and frozen lakes glimmer under the moonlight, Sweden transforms again. The air smells of wood smoke and pine. Fires crackle in cozy homes. Candles flicker in windows. And families gather for fika, the Swedish ritual of coffee and connection. Outside, children skate across frozen ponds, and the world seems wrapped in peace. It's a country that knows how to embrace the cold, turning even the harshest season into warmth. As you travel through Sweden, you realize something profound. Beauty here doesn't shout, it whispers. It's not found in grand gestures, but in quiet perfection. A sunrise over a frozen lake, the creak of wooden floors in an old cottage, the soft hum of the wind through pine needles. Sweden doesn't ask to be admired, it asks to be felt. This is the land of forests and lakes, of light and stillness, of balance and belonging, a place where nature is not outside of life, it is life. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it, the gentle rhythm of Sweden's heart, beating in harmony. Discover Denmark, a nation built on stories, sea winds, and innovation. From the fairy tale streets of Copenhagen and the colorful houses of Nyhavn to the windswept dunes of Skagen, this chapter explores how Danish culture harmonizes coziness, hygge, with futuristic design. The script will capture the warmth of people, the simplicity of their way of life, and their deep respect for nature and art. There's a place where the sun lingers long after midnight, where silence hums louder than words, and where the line between dream and daylight fades into gold. That place is Finland, a land carved by ice, shaped by forests, and softened by the shimmer of its 1,000 lakes. If you listen carefully, you'll hear its voice, the whisper of wind through birch trees, the ripple of water meeting stone, the slow, deep breath of a land at peace with itself. Finland doesn't rush to impress. It draws you in quietly, then holds you in awe. From the moment you arrive, you sense something different. The air feels pure, almost electric, clean enough to taste. The horizon stretches open, wide and endless. Forests roll into lakes, lakes melt into skies, and time seems to dissolve. This is not a country that lives for spectacle. It lives for connection between nature, people, and the spirit that ties them both together. Begin your journey in Helsinki, a city that feels like it belongs halfway between the modern world and a forest clearing. Here, architecture breathes simplicity and space. The white dome of the Helsinki Cathedral rises proudly against the blue sky, while the modern lines of the Udi Library or the Kamppi Chapel of Silence invite calm and reflection. Streets hum softly with the rhythm of everyday life, bicycles gliding over cobblestones, trams whispering past parks, the smell of roasted coffee filling the crisp air. But even in the capital, nature is never far away. Just a few minutes from the city center, the sea stretches into a maze of islands, the Helsinki archipelago. Small boats drift across the water, stopping at forested islets where Finns escape for the weekend. Wooden saunas sit by the shore, smoke curling up from their chimneys as people plunge into the cold sea and laugh beneath the open sky. It's a perfect reflection of the Finnish way of life, minimal, raw, and profoundly connected to the elements. Leave the city behind, and Finland begins to reveal its true magic. Head north into Lakeland, a region that feels like another world. Here, there are not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands of lakes, each more serene than the last. The water mirrors the sky so perfectly that it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. Wooden cottages stand by the shore, their chimneys releasing thin trails of smoke that disappear into the evening mist. Time slows. The world narrows to the soft splash of an oar, the creak of a jetty, the crackle of firewood. In Finland, the sauna is sacred. It's not luxury, it's life. Every lake, every village, every home seems to have one. You sit inside, surrounded by heat and silence, the scent of birch and steam filling the air. Then you step out, skin tingling, and plunge into the cold lake. It's a ritual older than memory, a cleansing of body and soul. Here, conversations fade, thoughts quiet, and what remains is something simple and pure peace. Continue north, and the forests grow wilder, the air colder, the light sharper. You enter Lapland, a land that feels like it belongs to another realm entirely. Endless tundra, reindeer wandering freely, and skies that tell stories. In winter, this is a world of frost and fire. The sun disappears for weeks, and darkness becomes your companion, yet it's not empty. Because above that darkness, the heavens come alive. The northern lights dance across the sky in waves of green and violet, like ribbons of pure energy. No words, no photograph can capture it. You just stand there, breath visible in the icy air, heart beating with something ancient and primal. But come summer, the world transforms again. The sun refuses to set, glowing for 24 hours a day. Under the midnight sun, time bends. You can hike at midnight, swim at dawn, or sit by a fire at 3 a.m. and still see light on the horizon. It's surreal, dreamlike, and deeply freeing. For Finns, this endless day isn't strange, it's sacred. It's when the land awakens, when everything grows, blooms, and breathes again. And through it all, the light, the silence, the cold, the warmth, runs a thread that defines Finland more than anything else. Sisu. It's a Finnish word that has no perfect translation, yet every Finn understands it. It means strength, resilience, quiet courage. It's the fire that burns inside when everything else fades. You see it in the way people endure long winters without complaint, in their respect for nature, in their independence and calm. Sisu is Finland's heartbeat, steady, unwavering, eternal. Even in its cities, Finland remains close to the wild. In places like Tampere or Turku, modern life blends effortlessly with lakeside tranquility. Glass-walled cafes overlook forests. People take breaks not in crowded malls, but in nature, walking, skiing, or sitting by the water. The boundary between civilization and wilderness doesn't exist here. They live as one. Then, deep in the Arctic Circle, you find Rovaniemi, the official hometown of Santa Claus. Yes, it's playful and filled with Christmas magic, but beyond the charm, there's wonder in the purity of the landscape. The snow, the pines, the stars. And it reminds you that Finland, at its core, still believes in magic, not the kind written in books, but the kind that lives in the land itself. As you journey through this land of endless lakes and eternal light, you begin to understand why Finland is often named the world's happiest country. It's not because of wealth or luxury, but because of harmony. A harmony between solitude and togetherness, simplicity and beauty, stillness and life. In Finland, peace isn't found, it's felt. It's in the reflection of the sky on a still lake, in the warmth of a sauna after the snow, in the quiet courage of the people who call this place home. Finland teaches you that true wonder doesn't shout. It whispers softly, like wine through pines, and if you listen closely, you'll hear it saying, "This is what serenity looks like." Finland unfolds like a whisper, vast, mysterious, and profoundly peaceful. This chapter will immerse the audience in the magic of Lapland, reindeer trails, the dance of the aurora borealis, and the serene beauty of frozen lakes. Blend poetic reflection with the quiet strength of the Finnish spirit, their love for solitude, saunas, and the power of nature's stillness. It begins with a roar deep, thunderous, and alive. Steam rises from the earth, rivers of molten rock carve through blackened stone, and glaciers glow blue beneath a sky that never stands still. This is Iceland, a land caught between creation and destruction, between fire and ice. It is not merely a country, it is a living planet, breathing before your eyes. And here, nature doesn't whisper. It speaks in storms, shouts in geysers, and sings through the wind that rushes over ancient lava fields. To set foot in Iceland is to step into the beginning of time. The landscape feels otherworldly, as if the earth is still being born. You drive through endless plains of volcanic ash, past mountains that rise like giants from the sea, their peaks lost in clouds. Every turn reveals a new wonder, something raw, wild, and impossibly beautiful. Iceland does not offer comfort, it offers awe. Your journey begins in Reykjavik, the world's northernmost capital. Small, colorful, and full of soul. Its skyline is marked by Hallgrímskirkja, a soaring church whose design was inspired by basalt columns and volcanic flows. From its tower, you see the ocean stretching endlessly, the mountains guarding the horizon. Reykjavik hums with creativity, music, art, and poetry born from isolation and imagination. Here, life is simple, yet it pulses with energy, perhaps because every Icelander knows they live on the edge of the earth. But it's when you leave the city that Iceland truly begins to reveal its magic. Head south toward the Golden Circle, the country's most iconic route. The first stop is Thingvellir National Park, a place of deep history and geology. It's where Iceland's parliament, the Althing, was founded over 1,000 years ago, making it one of the world's oldest democracies. Yeah, it's also where continents meet. Here, you can walk between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates, literally standing between two worlds. The cliffs seem to breathe, the ground alive with quiet tension, as if reminding you that the earth beneath your feet is always moving. A short drive away, the land erupts with life. Geyser, the original geyser that gave its name to all others, shoots boiling water high into the sky, while nearby, Strokor erupts every few minutes in a display of power and precision. The air smells of sulfur, the ground trembles, and steam dances over the fields, proof that the fire beneath Iceland's surface never sleeps. And then, the mighty Gullfoss. The Golden Falls crash down in two giant tiers, roaring with unstoppable force. Mist fills the canyon, refracting sunlight into rainbows. You feel the ground shudder beneath your boots, and for a moment, it's hard to believe such power could exist without destroying everything around it. But that's Iceland destruction and creation in perfect balance. Travel farther, and the landscape begins to shift again. Black sand beaches stretch for miles, sculpted by the Atlantic. At Reynisfjara, waves crash violently against basalt columns, sending spray high into the air. The sand is volcanic, dark as night, and the sea, cold, fierce, and unrelenting, tells tales of shipwrecks and storms. Off the coast, the Reynisdrangar sea stacks rise like sentinels, ancient guardians of this wild shore. Inland, glaciers cover the horizon, massive rivers of ice that move at the pace of time itself. Vatnajökull, Europe's largest glacier, sprawls across southeastern Iceland like a frozen ocean. Its blue crevasses glow from within, lit by the filtered light of an Arctic Sunday. Beneath it lies fire volcanoes hidden under the ice, waiting for their moment to breathe again. Few places on Earth hold such contrast, such fragile beauty balanced on the edge of chaos. At Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, icebergs drift silently across mirror-like water, breaking off from the glacier and floating toward the sea. Each chunk of ice glows a different shade of blue pale, electric, or crystal clear. Seals rest on their edges, watching as the tide carries them toward the diamond beach, where they melt into shards that sparkle on the black sand like stars fallen from the sky. It is a sight so surreal, you forget to breathe. In winter, Iceland transforms again. Darkness descends early, and the world becomes still. Yet above that darkness, the heavens awaken. The northern lights sweep across the sky, green, pink, violet, and white, moving like curtains in a cosmic breeze. The land below lies silent, frozen, yet alive in color. You stand there, the cold biting your skin, heart pounding as you realize you're not just watching the sky, you're witnessing the universe dream. Then, there's the heat not from the sun, but from the earth itself. The Blue Lagoon, a geothermal spa surrounded by volcanic rock, offers a strange kind of peace. Steam rises from the milky blue water as snow falls softly around you. It's a contrast so pure, it feels like a metaphor for the country itself, warmth and cold, comfort and wilderness, life and stillness coexisting in perfect harmony. And through it all, Iceland remains profoundly human. Despite its harshness, or perhaps because of it, the people here are grounded, kind, and endlessly creative. They live close to the elements, shaped by them. In every song, every poem, every myth told around a fire, you feel their bond with the land, a respect born from knowing that nature always has the final word. Iceland doesn't fit into categories. It's not Europe, not America, not even quite Earth as we know it. It's a realm apart, a living reminder of how wild and young our planet still is. Here, every gust of wind, every flicker of light, every drop of rain feels ancient and sacred. And when you leave, you realize Iceland has changed you, subtly, deeply, permanently. You carry its silence with you, its fire in your chest, its ice in your memory. Because once you've stood at the edge of the world and seen it breathe, you never see the world the same way again. Step into Iceland, where fire and ice collide in a landscape that feels almost otherworldly. From black sand beaches and cascading waterfalls to erupting volcanoes and crystal blue ice caves, this chapter captures the essence of the Earth's raw creation. The narration should echo with primal energy, describing how the island constantly reshapes itself, wild, unpredictable, and breathtaking. There are few places on Earth where the word majesty feels earned, but Norway wears it with effortless grace. Here, the land does not simply exist, it soars. It cuts through the sky in jagged peaks and plunges into seas so deep and still they feel eternal. Norway is not a destination. It's a revelation, a reminder of how small we are before the vastness of creation. The journey begins in the south, in Oslo, a city built where the forest meets the fjord. Modern and quiet, Oslo feels like a conversation between the past and the future. Sleek glass buildings reflect the water, while wooden Viking ships rest in ancient museums, ghosts of explorers who once set sail into the unknown. Stroll through the Vigeland Sculpture Park, where stone figures seem to tell the story of human life itself, joy, sorrow, and everything between. And from the top of the Holmenkollen ski jump, gaze over the city as it disappears into the mist, a modern heartbeat in a land of myth. But soon, the road calls. The farther north you go, the more Norway begins to show its true face. The cities fade, the crowds vanish, and nature takes the lead. Mountains rise higher, the air grows cleaner, and waterfalls tumble down like silver threads. Every turn in the road feels like entering another world, untouched, untamed, impossibly pure. The western fjords are Norway's crown jewels, vast, glacial valleys filled with seawater, carved by time itself. None are more famous than Geirangerfjord, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that seems almost too beautiful to be real. Sheer cliffs rise over 1,000 meters on either side, their tops lost in clouds. Dozens of waterfalls crash into the turquoise water below, including the legendary Seven Sisters, 7 elegant streams falling side by side, their mist forming rainbows in the morning light. Sail through the fjord, and you feel time slow down. The silence is immense, broken only by the echo of falling water and the cry of a distant eagle. Nearby lies Norøyfjord, narrower and more dramatic, a world of stone and silence. Villages of a handful of houses cling to its shores, their red roofs a striking contrast to the green slopes and deep blue waters. It's no wonder travelers call it the most beautiful fjord in the world. Here, you begin to understand something essential about Norway. It's not about grand monuments or bustling cities, it's about the raw poetry of the earth itself. As you move inland, the landscape transforms once more. The mighty peaks of Jotunheimen rise like frozen titans, the home of the giants. This national park holds some of Northern Europe's tallest mountains, including Galdhøpiggen, the highest of them all. Hikers cross snowfields and glassy lakes, their reflections perfect mirrors of the sky. It's easy to see why Norse mythology was born here. A land of gods, storms, and timeless battles between light and dark. Farther west, the Atlantic Road stretches across the ocean like a silver ribbon. It connects tiny islands with sweeping bridges, each curve offering a new, impossible view. When the waves crash against the rocks during a storm, the road seems to vanish into the sea, as if daring travelers to test their courage. It's one of the most dramatic drives on Earth, where the line between land and water is forever blurred. Then, there's Bergen, the gateway to the fjords. Surrounded by 7 mountains and drenched in misty rain, it's a city that seems born from the sea itself. Wooden Hanseatic buildings line the harbor, their colors faded but proud, telling stories of merchants and explorers who once ruled the north. Music drifts from street corners, the smell of fresh fish fills the air, and seagulls cry overhead. Bergen is both ancient and alive, its rhythm dictated by the tides. As you journey further north, the Arctic Circle awaits, where the midnight sun reigns in summer and the northern lights dance in winter. Tromsø, often called the Paris of the North, is your window to this frozen paradise. It's a place of paradoxes, where reindeer roam the tundra, yet modern cafes buzz with warmth and laughter. When the aurora appears, it feels as if the heavens themselves have opened, green and violet ribbons swirling across the night, reflecting in the icy waters below. Beyond Tromsø, the world grows even quieter. The Lofoten Islands rise from the ocean like shards of green and stone. Their peaks pierce the clouds, their fishing villages painted in bright reds and yellows that stand defiantly against the gray Arctic sky. The air smells of salt and snow. The light, soft, golden and endless, turns every photograph into a painting. Whether it's summer's eternal daylight or winter's deep blue twilight, Lofoten feels like a dream you never want to wake from. Life in Norway moves with the rhythm of nature. People here are not separate from the land, they are part of it. They ski through forests, sail through fjords, and climb peaks not for adventure, but for connection. There's a word in Norwegian for luftsliv, which means open air life. It's not just a pastime, it's a philosophy. To live close to the land, to breathe the mountain air, to find peace in solitude and strength in silence. And that's the secret of Norway. It's not just a place of breathtaking beauty, it's a lesson in how to live, to move slowly, to listen deeply, to understand that the greatest wonders are not man-made, but born of time, water, and rock. As the journey ends, you stand at the edge of a cliff, overlooking a fjord bathed in golden light. The water below is still as glass. The air carries the faint sound of distant waves. In that moment, Norway feels eternal, a land carved by patience and preserved by reverence. And as you walk away, you realize something simple yet profound. In the silence of these mountains, in the depth of these waters, you haven't just seen Norway, you've seen the earth remembering itself. Beneath the beauty of Scandinavia lies its heartbeat, its people. This chapter dives into Nordic traditions, from Viking sagas and folklore to modern innovation and equality. Describe the art of living close to nature, the value of community, and the pride in craftsmanship. Blend visuals of festivals, food, and architecture with voiceover reflections on how Scandinavia balances history and progress. There's a calmness to Sweden, a quiet confidence that doesn't shout but whispers. It's the kind of place that doesn't need to prove its beauty. It simply exists in harmony with itself. From the glistening lakes of the south to the wild tundras of Lapland, Sweden is a country of contrasts where modern life flows effortlessly alongside ancient legends. Our journey begins in Stockholm, the capital spread across 14 islands where the Baltic Sea meets Lake Mälaren. It's often called the Venice of the North, but Stockholm is something else, entirely a perfect blend of nature and design, history and innovation. The cobblestone streets of Gamla Stan, the old town, echo with stories of kings and merchants, of narrow alleys and candlelit cafes. Golden facades shimmer under the northern sun, and the scent of cinnamon buns drifts through the air. Just beyond the old walls, sleek glass buildings rise, modern, minimalist, and distinctly Swedish. At the Vasa Museum, a 17th century warship stands frozen in time, pulled from the depths of the sea after 333 years. Every wooden carving still whispers of a nation that once dreamed of empire. But walk through the city today, and you'll see a different kind of power, the quiet brilliance of Swedish creativity. From the world's most iconic furniture to the music that fills global charts, Stockholm has turned simplicity into an art form. Travel west, and the cities fade into forests vast and endless. Sweden is a country where nature is never far away. Lakes stretch to the horizon, reflecting pine-covered hills and endless skies. In summer, the air hums with life. Birds, insects, the gentle splash of paddles against calm water. People come here not to escape civilization, but to reconnect with what civilization has forgotten: stillness. Further west, lies Gothenburg, Sweden's second largest city, and its heart beats with a maritime soul. Here, the salty air carries the cries of seagulls, and the harbor buzzes with life. Colorful trams roll through boulevards lined with art galleries, indie cafes, and seafood markets. The city's canals glimmer under the sun, while the archipelago just offshore offers quiet islands where red cottages sit perched on gray rocks. In Gothenburg, the line between city and sea fades. It's a place that lives and breathes water. Head north, and the landscape begins to change. The forests grow thicker, the lakes deeper, and the sense of solitude stronger. Dalarna, the heart of Sweden, is a region steeped in tradition where red wooden houses sit beside wildflower meadows and mirrored lakes. This is where you find the Dala horse, carved from wood and painted bright red, a national symbol born from the hands of local craftsmen. Visit during midsummer, and you'll witness one of Sweden's most cherished celebrations. People dancing around maypoles, wreaths of flowers in their hair, singing songs that have echoed for centuries. But to understand the true essence of Sweden, you must go further north to Lapland, where the wilderness rules and the sky itself becomes a canvas of wonder. Here, the air is pure, the silence absolute. Reindeer roam the tundra, and the Sami people, Europe's only indigenous culture, live in harmony with the land. Their traditions are woven into the rhythm of the Arctic, the herding of reindeer, the songs called joik, and the endless respect for nature's balance. In winter, Lapland transforms into a world of ice and light. Snow blankets everything in white silence, and the nights shimmer with the aurora borealis, ribbons of green, violet, and gold swirling above frozen forests. It's an experience that feels spiritual, as if the universe itself has opened its hand to reveal its secrets. And when the sun returns after months of darkness, it's not just light that comes back, it's life, rushing into every river, every tree, every heart. Summer in Lapland is another kind of magic. The midnight sun hovers above the horizon, bathing the land in a golden glow that never fades. Days stretch endlessly, time loses meaning, and nature seems to stand still in awe of its own beauty. People fish in crystal-clear rivers, hike across tundras filled with wildflowers, and sleep under skies that never turn dark. In these moments, you understand why Swedes speak of allemansrätten, the right of public access. It's a belief that nature belongs to everyone, that the land is not to be owned but shared. And that philosophy, that sense of balance, defines Sweden. It's in the architecture that blends wood and glass, the design that favors simplicity over excess, the way people value quiet moments as much as grand ones. Even the cities feel alive with this harmony. Bicycles outnumber cars, parks outshine skyscrapers, and clean air feels like part of daily life. Perhaps the best word to describe Sweden is light. Not just the physical light that stretches endlessly in summer, but the inner light, the calm optimism that shapes everything here. You can feel it in the way people smile, in the songs they sing, in the way they pause to appreciate a sunset or a cup of coffee shared with a friend. As the journey comes to an end, imagine standing beside one of Sweden's countless lakes at dusk. The water is still, the air cool and pure. The sky burns with the soft orange of the setting sun, and in the reflection, the world seems doubled, sky above, sky below. You breathe deeply, and for a moment, everything feels right. This is Sweden, not loud, not hurried, but endlessly beautiful in its quiet strength. A place where legends live in the forests, light dances across the heavens, and the human spirit finds peace in the rhythm of the earth itself. Conclude the journey beneath the most magical spectacle on Earth, the aurora borealis. As the colors swirl across Arctic skies, reflect on what Scandinavia truly represents: peace, endurance, and connection with the cosmos. The final moments should feel timeless and emotional, reminding the viewer that some places don't just exist, they awaken something within us. There are places on Earth that feel like a dream, places where silence speaks louder than words, where light seems to come from the soul of the land itself. Finland is one of them. It's a country of endless forests, shimmering lakes, and skies that never stop changing. Here, time slows down, and the world feels vast, ancient, and pure. This is the final frontier of Scandinavia, a land shaped not by power or empire, but by peace, resilience, and nature's quiet strength. The story of Finland begins with water. There are nearly 190,000 lakes scattered across its vast landscape, each one a mirror reflecting the sky above. They stretch like fragments of glass between rolling forests and sleepy villages, creating one of the most breathtaking natural mosaics in the world. Imagine standing on a wooden dock at dawn, mist curling above the water, a single bird calling across the stillness. The air is so crisp it feels alive every breath, a reminder of how untouched this land truly is. Helsinki, the capital, rests gracefully on the edge of the Baltic Sea, a city that blends art, architecture, and the rhythm of the waves. It's both serene and sophisticated, with a design philosophy that embraces simplicity and purpose. Walk through Senate Square, and you'll feel the grandeur of neoclassical buildings meeting the modern world. Step into the Kamppi Chapel, the chapel of silence, and the city's heartbeat fades, replaced by stillness so deep it feels sacred. In Helsinki, nature and culture intertwine. Ferries glide across the harbor to Suomenlinna, a sea fortress built in the 18th century that now stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its walls whisper of battles long past, but today, children play where cannons once stood, and artists sketch the horizon. The city thrives on balanced glass towers beside birch trees, innovation alongside tradition. And when evening comes, locals gather for a sauna, that quintessential Finnish ritual of heat, steam, and rebirth. To understand Finland, you must understand the sauna. It's more than a tradition. It's a philosophy. Every home, every lake cabin, every corner of the country holds a small wooden sanctuary where fire and water meet. Inside, the air grows thick with steam as stones hiss beneath the ladle. It's here that people let go of stress, of noise, of the world outside. In the silence, sweat becomes prayer. And when you step out, plunging into the icy lake, your body feels reborn. In Finland, the sauna isn't just a place, it's a way of life. But beyond the cities lies the true soul of Finland, a land of forests so vast they seem infinite. Over 70% of the country is covered in trees, birch, pine, and spruce, stretching endlessly toward the horizon. In summer, these forests glow emerald beneath the golden light of the midnight Sunday. The air hums with insects. Rivers shimmer like silver threads, and time seems to disappear. It's a land where solitude isn't lonely, it's healing. Venture deeper north, and the rhythm changes. Here lies Finnish Lapland, the crown of the Arctic, where myths come alive. It's home to the Sami people, the indigenous caretakers of the north, whose culture is as old as the tundra itself. Their songs, called joiks, carry through the crisp air like wind over ice, telling stories of reindeer, rivers, and the spirits of the land. In winter, Lapland transforms into something otherworldly. Snow blankets everything in silence, and the night sky dances with the aurora borealis, green ribbons of light swirling across the heavens. The forests become frozen cathedrals, and reindeer leave delicate tracks across the snow. It's the realm of Santa Claus, whose official home in Rovaniemi draws travelers from every corner of the globe, a place where imagination feels utterly real. When the light returns after months of twilight, it comes with a vengeance, the midnight sun that never sets. For nearly 3 months, the Arctic glows in endless daylight. The rivers roar with melted ice, wildflowers burst through the ground, and the land pulses with new life. Imagine kayaking through mirrored lakes at midnight, the sun hovering just above the horizon, gold, eternal, silent. That's Finnish magic. The heart of this country beats in its simplicity, in its ability to find joy in small things. A cup of coffee by the window, the sound of rain on the roof, the stillness of snow falling on pine needles. Finland doesn't demand your attention. It earns it quietly. And in that quiet, you begin to hear the deeper truths of life. That peace is not found in escape, but in acceptance. That beauty is not in grandeur, but in grace. Even its cities, Tampere, Turku, Oulu, feel like extensions of the wilderness. Rivers run through their hearts, forests edge their boundaries, and the people live in tune with nature's rhythm. Education, innovation, and equality are not just ideals. Here they are reality. It's no wonder Finland is often called the happiest country on earth. Happiness here isn't loud or fleeting. It's steady, rooted, like the lakes and trees themselves. As the journey across Scandinavia ends in this land of lakes and light, imagine standing on a wooden pier under the summer sky. The water reflects the sun in 1,000 golden ripples. The world feels still, yet full of life. You close your eyes, breathe deeply, and understand why Finland's soul feels eternal, because it is one with nature itself. Finland is not just a destination. It's an experience of peace, light, and belonging. A reminder that the world doesn't have to be rushed, that sometimes the most powerful places are the quietest ones. In the land of 1,000 lakes, you don't just see beauty, you become part of it. From the valleys carved by glaciers to cities born from innovation and simplicity, from the calm of the lakes to the eternal light of the midnight sun. Scandinavia is not just a region, it's a feeling, a reminder that in silence, there is strength. In nature, there is truth. We've traveled across lands that glow beneath the aurora, sailed along fjords that hold the reflection of the heavens, and walked through forests that have stood since time began. And in every breath of cold air, we found one thing: peace. Scandinavia teaches us that the world doesn't need to be conquered. It needs to be understood. That beauty isn't loud. It's quiet, enduring, eternal. So when you think of this northern world, remember the glow of the northern lights, the whisper of the pines, and the stillness of the lakes that never forget the sky. This is Scandinavia, a land of wonder, a land of light, a land that forever touches the soul. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to explore more cinematic journeys across our beautiful planet. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time.